So here we go. Oh, new software, so I have to press this button. Hey guys, welcome to the live stream. I gotta turn that thing so it doesn't keep looping all the time, because that's going to be an issue. It keeps wanting to loop that intro video, which I don't want it to do. But hey guys, Dirt here, and welcome to the show. And today we're going to be attempting to do this live stream look at this guy, Scorpion. Now I know a lot of you guys, you've seen these. These originally were exclusives. I don't want to say exclusives, but they were just showing up at GameStop. Although I noticed today that they are also starting to show up at Toys R Us. I was hoping this camera would focus, but it doesn't seem like it wants to. Focus. Nope. Nope. It's just saying nope. We're not going to focus because we don't have to. And so we're not going to do it. So, alright. Whatever. Don't focus. But these are in the 5.5 style of Masters of the Universe figures. So your classic Masters of the Universe figures. So here I've got a Beastman that we can compare it to. I also have a Sun Gold wrestler. This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff we can compare it to. And then I also have, this is the newest one that I've picked up, vintage, and this is the Warlord from that Remco line. So we're going to be taking a look, comparing it to those. But yeah, I've got a bunch of these Mortal Kombat figures, so I'll be going through these. I've also got what is that? Son of Zorn? Is that TV show that got canceled? I grabbed one or two of those. I don't even remember. And then I have a bunch of these Realm of the Underworld figures that I've had for years and years and years. The Zolo World figures. So we'll be taking a look at all of these. Ooh, look, transition. Woo! Second camera. Woo! Check him out. There he is. Woo! And now we're back. So, yeah. So, like I said, I've just got these toys are just like piling up. I haven't been able to take a look at. So I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to try this live stream here. I'm going to rip open the Scorpion. And then if this video goes south and it doesn't work and it sucks, well then, oh well. But I'm hoping this can work so I can open up all these toys and get some videos and get some content on the channel. So now that I've wasted all of your time, probably wasted like 5 minutes on that bad introduction, let's take a look at this Scorpion. So this is Mortal Kombat. I've been on the wrong camera the whole time. I've been on the wrong camera for like the last, oh my gosh. See, okay, so new software. And the new software, yep, I've been on the wrong camera. So for the last several minutes, you just saw my hand just kind of in the corner of the screen while I was talking, because I was talking to this camera, but what it was actually showing was this camera. I've got to work on this. This is going to be an issue. I got to work on making sure I got the right camera. Again, new software, folks. Everything can't be perfect in your life. All right, so Scorpion. Mortal Kombat X. I believe actually Mortal Kombat 10 is what it's supposed to be, just like Friday the 13th Part 10. They actually called Jason X, but it's really 10. It's Friday the 13th 10. But no, oh, and you can see the delay there. That's nice. You can see the delay coming through on the YouTube video. I should hide that because that's going to get really, well, but I need it because of the chat box. See, if any of you guys want to chat and talk, I've got a window here so I can see it. I'm going to close this video down, though. So I can see the chat box as you guys chat. Now, again, there's a delay in time, so it'll take me a little bit longer to respond than, whatever. But that's just how the software works. So, taking a look here, it is a standard blister on card. You can even see by the shape of the bubble that it's using here, that it's shaped to look like the old Masters of the Universe. Like, it is that same classic shape that most people recognize. Mortal Kombat X, Scorpion, collectible action figure. My cat's meowing. Thank you very much for that. On the back, though, you can see we've got Raiden, we've got Katana, Scorpion, Liu Kang, Sub-Zero. I have all but Katana. Katana, just not really a big fan of the. Again, I'm showing this to the wrong camera. Oh boy, I gotta figure out this this software better before we go. But anyway, so Raiden, Katana, Scorpion, Liu Kang, Sub-Zero. I have all but Katana, and I've got a Scorpion chase figure coming on the way. They've got one where he rips off the mask, and you can see his head is the big flame, like Ghost Rider, whatever. That one's coming. The package was like all dent up and ripped up, so the guy was selling it cheap, and it's like, yeah, all right, I'll get rid of that. So we do have a question here in the chat from For the Gamers asking, do you like Mortal Kombat? I do. I've actually been a fan of Mortal Kombat ever since I first saw it in the arcades in the early 1990s, because I'm old. I think, of course, it's a series of games. Some games are better than others. Some work out fine. And honestly, I'm one of those few. I actually really liked when they put them on Game Boy Advance. Not Mortal Kombat Advance, but the Deadly Alliance and Deception on Game Boy Advance. I actually played those all the time. I played those a lot. I like those. But then Mortal Kombat X Part 10, of course, I did buy this one because it had Jason Voorhees in it. And so anything with my boy Jason, I got to buy that and play it. So here we go with this guy. We are going to go ahead. I can see by the way they've done the bubble is they've actually wrapped the plastic around here on the edges, which help it, so someone doesn't rip it off real easily and they're able to take the figure out. But it makes it a little more difficult, as a collector. When the bubble is just loose, you can just kind of pop that bubble off and you get a pretty clean card. This is going to rip up the back. It'll kind of keep the front clean. Well, they've got glue all over the front, so it's not going to, whatever. So we're just going to start ripping this apart and getting into the figure here. I was hoping there was a nice, easy way to do it without doing too much damage, but it doesn't look like that's going to be an option here. So we're just going to have to rip it open. And I hope this video turns out well, so I don't have this one ripped open and I can't talk about it later. The figure, okay, so now that I've got it open, and it just transitioned for no reason. It did it on its own. Odd. There must be a key combination. I've got these other figures sitting on my keyboard here. There must be some key combination that makes it do the transition. But anyway, okay, so I've got the bubble open, and the figure, he's just kind of loose in there. He's just kind of floating around in there, which is nice. If you see me do videos, unboxing, opening stuff up, it's always a pain to have to snip through and get everything out. Transformers, the Voltrons, those type of stuff. There's always so many invisible rubber bands and plastic lines and like all kinds of stuff that you have to do. He's loose. The only thing that's holding them in is his swords in the background. His swords back there are taped. And because they're taped into place, they're kind of holding them into that spot. But otherwise, he's just loose. And I actually enjoy that. I'm glad they're doing that. So we can pull out his swords here. And we'll take a look at those here in a minute. Let's get Scorpion out. So, not too bad ripping it apart. A little bit of, you can see that it's been torn open there on the back. But otherwise, it's in pretty decent shape. You can get them in and out, pop them back in there pretty easily if you want to display them that way. But let's take a look at the figure here. And he is a nice, beefy looking fighting dude. Now, Masters of the Universe, of course, did not have a lot of articulation. They did have action features. The most basic one was there was a rubber band in the midsection to give him a little like punch. But of course, these don't have it. It's just a regular waist because those things get really loose. I'll show you Beastman in a minute, and we'll talk about that. But you can see here, he's a good-looking, beefy dude. There's lots of detail. I'm actually surprised how much detail there is, considering this is kind of a simplified version of the character. But you can see there he is. His arms. There's no elbow articulation. It's just shoulders. There's no knee or ankle. It's just here at the hip. We've got our waist that turns, and we've got our neck that turns, and that's it. So there's not a lot there. If you want, it is kind of focused, and then did not focus. Okay, so then on the back here, you can see it's kind of plain. You do have the extra bands going across and whatever. But for the most part, you can take a look at them and see that there is some nice little detail there in the upper chest area. The camera is having a hard time focusing. Okay, and then you can see detail there on the mouth and mask. It's like it doesn't know where it wants to focus. I can block out more of the background. If I can find a nice backdrop that I can use to set these in. Usually I try to use the photo tent, and maybe I'll go back to trying doing that again to have those in there. But the arms just twist. A lot of times they stick a ball joint in there. On these, they did not. So there's no real way to do anything other than move it back and forth. But again, that is kind of like your standard Masters of the Universe figure from back in the day. The legs, though, do twist around, so you do have a little more options with that. And that is pretty key, because when you're trying to get them to stand, you don't want them flipping around a whole lot. Let's switch back over here, take a look at these swords, if we can. And you can see it looks like little straps of leather there on the handle, and you've got some insets the way they're cut in there. But for the most part, it's just kind of a solid, blocky sword. Let's see how well these stick in his hands here. If I can try. The hands are, you know, that mold, that all-purpose grip. And they are tough. They do not want to go in there. Is he not supposed to have pupils, or is that a misprint? He's not, because he's actually a demon. He died, and his spirit is escaping hell or whatever. So Sub-Zero, who's the cold guy, and Scorpion, who's the fire guy, they are enemies of each other. And Scorpion, like, channels this demon spirit thing, and there's a lot of mythology you can get into with Mortal Kombat. I don't really get into all that. I just like the fighting and the chopping people and, you know, ripping their spines out and all that kind of good, fun family stuff. But his fingers here, I'm having a really hard time getting the sword in there, because it's so thick. Trying to get into his hand. I'm trying to, like, push the fingers apart enough. There we go. So I can get the sword in there, so you can see the fingers. Look at this hand. You see how close the fingers are together. If you look at this hand, you can see how far apart they are in order to get the sword in there, which I guess might be nice in the long run, because in the long run, you may end up wearing it out, constantly taking the swords in and out, so they make it tighter, so that over time, when it loosens, it'll still be able to hold on to your swords. So there he is holding that one sword. What I want to do, though, is I want to grab Beastman here, and I want to see if Beastman can hold on to this sword, or if it's going to be too big for his grip. He can kind of hold on to it. It's in there. It's not, where are we going? Camera, there we go. It's in there. It's not the most solid grip, but he's got it, so he can use it. So that's pretty cool. Switch back down over here, and you can see that they are in the same scale here. If I hold them back to back, and I just knock the sword out of Beastman's hand, because it really is too big for his grip. But you can see here that they are just right in line with each other. They are both the big, beefy, Masters of the Universe looking Remco style figures. And they, you know, the musculature is definitely different. They didn't just take an old Masters of the Universe figure and just put some clothes on it and call it a new figure. I mean, customizers and kit bashers will do that, which is fine. I'm not saying that that's a problem. I'm just saying you can tell they used a whole new sculpt because the way the muscles are different. You can see the way they're laid out. There's more detail and definition on here than there is on these, but of course these are much, much older. Almost 40 years now that it's been since these figures came out. When we were talking about his waist not having the action feature, it's because there's no rubber band in there. The way Masters of the Universe figures, of course, they had a little black rubber band, and you can find all kinds of kits in there. Let's see, he's got this pullback, which you know, makes a nice basic action feature, but you end up with legs that end up wanting to do this. And over time, you know, that band gets worn out, and these legs, they don't hold as tightly as they used to, and they're fighting against that rubber band. So you're not having that problem with a guy like this. His legs are in line, and they're going to hold a little bit better, but you do lose that quick punch action feature that goes with it. So let's compare it now to, just for giggles, why not, one of the Sun Gold wrestlers, and you can see that he's actually bigger than the Sun Gold. The Sun Gold are actually a little bit smaller than Masters of the Universe. These are more, I guess, 5, and these are 5.5. So there is a little bit of give there. If we take the Warlord here from the Remco line, and we put them back to back, you can see, yeah, they are, once again, spot on, same size. And again, different muscles. You can see the sculpts of everything are completely different. If we go this way. But again, it fits right in line. It looks perfect. So the Sun Gold guys, a little bit smaller. It was mostly an off-brand, I think. I don't even think these were really fully licensed. I've got a Hulk Hogan one around here somewhere, back on the shelf behind me. But you can see that these guys are just a little bit smaller. And, you know, honestly, if you wanted to say professional wrestlers versus demonic warrior guys, then it makes sense they'd be a little bit smaller. The demonic guys would be a little bit bigger, just because. But in line with the actual classic Masters, I mean, these things are perfect. Like, I'm really happy with how good they look. Again, not as detailed as like the classics line of figures, but they're not going to be. I'm looking forward to the new vintage style ones that Super 7 are doing. But of course, these are Funko. Funko announced at Toy Fair. They've got a Conan line, a horror line, some other ones coming. I don't know. Funko may have, in fact, done the Son of Zorn ones I have sitting over here that I need to do. So anyway, there we go. There's Scorpion. If I can find his other sword, I'll try to get it in his hand. Hop down here. And again, these hands are just so tough to bend to get the sword in there. Here's a question for you. Okay, so with the swords in his hands, do the blades are, see how they're curved on one side and they come to a point and they're flat on the other? I'm guessing the curved end is what you would slice at somebody, right? You want to slice with that, like a knife blade, and not like this. You don't want the blunt, that pointy end sticking out, right? So you want to do it around. I'm not a knife master. I'm not a sword master. I've never taken sword play training or anything like that. My roommate in college, though, he was a member of the Kombat Club, and they would make the big foam swords and foam armor and attack each other out on the quad, and it was interesting. You know, it was fun to watch. But anyway, I'm sure they know all about how to make those work. But anyway, that's a good looking figure. That is fun. I'm trying to see if I can get a good shot holding it up, blocking my face. That'll make a good, there we go. That'll be our thumbnail for the video. That's a perfect shot for a thumbnail. So there we go, guys. All right, so OBS Studio. I'm hoping this looks better than the Minicam software I was using before. The quality looks good. Hopefully the audio looks nice. So hope you guys enjoyed watching this. I'm going to watch it back, make sure everything worked out right, play out some of the kinks that are on this other software. And if I can get everything working, then yeah, we can do a whole bunch more live streams. We can talk about comics. We can do more of these figures that I have lying around. Video games, because I have another one of these systems, so I'm going to have to do a comparison on these tiny little knockoff Nintendo systems and everything like that. So plenty of stuff hopefully coming up, assuming this video worked out okay. So that's going to do it for me, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.